trip, I chose Japan. I chose Japan because in America, when we have Asian fusion, it's really a combination of Japanese, Chinese, and Thai food all in one. And I've never really been able to distinguish the difference between the three countries and the other countries mixed in between. So I wanted to study Japanese as a whole. And what I learned was pretty interesting. It was cool to compare and contrast America with Japan and how we kind of start with the same base of food and customize it based on our culture and what we like. So basically, when you start with a cake, the Japanese cheesecake is basically our sponge cake. And when we make a pancake, the Japanese make a pancake sort of like a pizza. So I thought it was really cool to find the differences between our two countries. Today I'm going to be making sushi, which is made basically worldwide. I'm really excited, and let's get cooking. So I have 2 cups of jasmine rice that has been strained and rinsed, and I'm going to add it to some simmering water, and I'm going to let it come to a boil after it has been covered, and then let it simmer for 7 to 8 minutes or until all of the water is completely evaporated. So while the rice is cooking, I'm going to cook my teriyaki chicken. I have wrapped the chicken breast in plastic wrap, and now we're going to pound it with this meat pounder so it'll cook faster and we'll get more meat from the chicken breast. So now I have pounded my chicken breast and cut it into strips so I can just lay them right into the sushi. And I've heated up some canola oil on the stove. It's gotten hot, and now I'm going to place chicken strips into the oil and let them start cooking. So my chicken's not quite at 165, but I'm going to go ahead and add my teriyaki sauce so that during its final stages of cooking, it can really soak up the flavor. So now that my chicken has reached 165, I'm going to remove it from the pan and place it on this plate to cool before we start putting it in the sushi. The next step is making the sushi rice. So to my jasmine rice, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of salt. So I'm going to stir that all together until it reaches a sticky consistency. The next step is to cut up your produce. So starting with my avocado, just my avocado, put the one with the seed over here for now. And now I'm going to remove the skin by doing a small incision on the top so you can just peel it off. So now that my avocado is peeled, I'm going to slice it in half moon shapes. The next vegetable I'm going to cut up is my cucumber. So I'm going to cut it lengthwise. And you want to get rid of the seeds that run down the middle of the cucumber. So I'm just going to cut around those. And then you should be able to scoop them out. So once the seeds are removed, you can cut it in half again. And then you want to basically julienne your cucumber. So now I'm gonna roll my sushi. I have my sushi mat that I purchased at my local Asian market for about $1, and I put it in this large freezer bag. I put it in here because Once I flip over my seaweed with the rice on it, you don't want it to stick between the grains of the bamboo. So the plastic will just help it to not stick. So I'm first just gonna take my hand in some water. You should always have water on hand when you're making sushi because it gets very sticky and hard to handle. I'm putting a lot of water on here. And then I'm gonna place my seaweed paper down. So I'm gonna coat my hands in the water. And I'm gonna bring this rice over and put some in my hands and start putting it on the seaweed. So I've transferred my sushi in its current stage to a cutting board, and now I have to flip this sushi over so the rice is on the outside, which is arguably one of the hardest parts of making sushi. So I've dampened my plastic bag again. I'm just gonna flip it over onto the cutting board. I got the cutting board, flip it over. And now my sushi is perfectly on my mat. So now I get to layer all of my ingredients inside of my sushi. So I'm gonna start with my teriyaki chicken, which is the base of the sushi, and just lay the strips across. I'm gonna add my cucumber. It's okay if they overlap. My cream cheese. And some slices of avocado. So now I'm going to roll the sushi. So starting back here, just gonna tuck everything under and compress that. Got it all in. I'm gonna roll it some more. Push back. Do the final sneeze, and you're out of your sushi roll. So now I'm going to cut my sushi roll.